Good evening and good day, wherever you may be. Welcome to the CEN show, a platform where we learn from the world community. I am your host, Rashaki Maskani, and on the panel this evening, we have uh, Miss Shanette and also Brother Mshinda. Our guest this evening is Dr. Sharita Yazid. She's a naturopathic doctor, and we always on the Conscious Corner show that we have on Tuesdays, we always say, uh, can you guys tell us, Professor Amara always say, can you tell us something good about blacks today or black people and black situations? And I want to say that I've I've known Dr. Sharita for a few months now, and we had a few conversations. She's been on the show before, and I could honestly say that she's something good that happens for black people. And she could tell you more about herself. I know some of the things she does, and I would let her share more about herself. But what I've known in these very few months is that she's highly intelligent and a real easy person to talk to, and seem like she's a person that you can get along with well. So this evening the topic is vegetarianism, and she's gonna tell us something about that, and we'll have a usual conversation that we have at the end with questions and comments. So I want to welcome you again, Dr. Sharita. You see, it's
Greetings, greetings.
always a pleasure to have you here. And kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you did probably before, but you can tell us what you want us to know, and then you can start your presentation.
Yes, peace and love, family. Greetings, an honor and a pleasure to be here. This night, this afternoon, this evening for you guys, and this morning for me, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning over here. So I got my little nap in so I can make sure I'm fresh. Yeah, so I'm Dr. Sharita. I'm a naturopath. I do iridology, Reiki. I put people on detoxification programs and just different diets to help people to better their health or to reverse diseases. And so I've been doing this for over 30 years. My parents is Dr. Paul Goss and Alzonia Goss, and they're the ones that got me started on my journey. I've studied, of course, with them. I've studied with Dr. Africa, Queen Afua, Dr. Kweku Ando, who's out of Ghana, but was in the US for a long time. Um, Dr. Moata Ashby, Dr. Who does yoga, comedic yoga, Dr. Iris Latham, who's who started the raw food movement, the live food movement. And I've studied Dr. Sebi's methods. And of course, being here in Ghana, I'm talking to you from Ghana for those of you who don't know. Here in Ghana, I've studied under Dr. Sari and several other herbalists, even a good friend of mine, Asantewa, who's a really real cool sister here that knows so much about malaria, typhoid, or something like that. She's like, Sharita, don't worry about your medicine from the US. You got to go to our bush. So she'll go and mix some things up for me, and through that process, I've learned a lot, from her. And as far as just different preparations, um, using herbs, more than just how we have it as far as capsules or teas or tinctures. She showed me how to make different tonics and different poultices and just, so many different things. So I have a lot of information that I have learned I'm still learning. I think as long as we have breath, we should, every day I try to do that. I am also a coordinator of the African Culture Wellness Festival. And hopefully this internet stays. It's saying that it's a little unstable. I've done TV and radio here as well, speaking on, wellness, food as your medicine and things like that. I also have 6 children, 4 grandchildren. I do West African dance since like 95. It's like one of my favorite things to do as far as just something for the mind, body, and spirit. Um, I've been here in Ghana for 18 years now. And it's my birthday month. Our birthday was on Monday, so I'm celebrating the whole, you can get this age, you can celebrate the whole month. So I'm in celebration of, we're in the Leo season, and I'm in celebration with those ancestors, Marcus Garvey and Selassie and a few others out there that has helped bring good news to the Black community.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot to say. But I think we should, go ahead and get started.
Okay, well, happy Earth Day to you. Happy
Thank you.
arrival on this earth those few moons ago. So,
Yes.
so what about vegetarianism? I mean, what is it really, and
Yeah, so
how does it
I
affect us?
yeah, so I wanted to there's so many topics that we can talk about as far as, pertaining to African people and the things that we need. I wanted to talk about this particular topic because I feel like it's something that just talking about food and diet and health and wellness is something that's not so prevalent in our movement, especially the Pan-African movement. One of the things that we always have a lot of historians that speak on a lot of our history as African people. And we'll talk about, maybe the places and maybe the clothing, some of the traditions and things like that. But a lot of times we don't include that food piece for some reason. As far as like the different ways that we ate, like we're talking about the Egyptians or the ancient Comedians, and just different people in the groups of people in the past that had these really disciplined diets as to how they were able to be so strong and be able to do a lot of these things that they were able to do. And it affects us mentally, spiritually, and physically. So when it comes down to the Pan-African movement, that's where the different teachers that I just mentioned, like Dr. Goss, that was our part in the movement. We had to make sure that, yeah, we understand who we are and we know where we come from, but we have to clean up our diet. We have to clean up the way we take in food, information, and all of that. So, vegetarian means someone who has a diet of vegetation that eats vegetation. That's a vegetarian, a person who eats vegetation. Now you have is a very food has always been very political, especially in the United States. And so you have a lot of different buzzwords and just different types of vegetarian, different types of diet. So just to break down real quickly, like I said, vegetarian is a person who eats vegetation. Then you have the word vegan. Now, vegan is a word that is used that I'll use in reference to telling people on how I eat. So meaning that I don't eat any animal products, no animals, no eggs, milk, you know, things like that. And but it actually means that it's a person who doesn't has any harm to any animals. So a person who is vegan is not necessarily always looking at um, eating vegetation, like a lot of times they can be eating like a lot of processed foods. It's not always about health. It's about saving animals. So I refer to myself as a vegan, say if I'm in a restaurant or if I need to pick a meal on the plane and they want to know what type of meal, vegan is there because, and I even have a group called the Vegan All Stars because it's more about my diet and how I eat. But I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm an animal activist or I can officially, you know, if you're arguing with amongst the vegetarians and vegans, I can't say officially that I'm a vegan because I do West African dance. We're drumming on uh, either goat skin or cow skin. So that's that. And then I'm an athlete. I played basketball, and we know the ball is made out of leather. Also, when it comes down to fashion, I like me some nice leather boots. I like a long trench leather coat in the cold and things like that, you know. So so that's pretty much what vegan is about. Then you have this word plant-based. That's I think is more of a newer word in as far as on the food scene. And the plant-based to me is a little, you know, suspect because plant-based, if you're saying that something is based in something, that means there's something else there or something else is on top. There's something else added. So plant-based would be something like Beyond Meat, Impossible Burger, you know, all these different processed, you know, foods and that we have on the market. So that's not necessarily just a plant itself, like some lettuce or tomato and cucumber. It's actually something that's been processed in the lab. I understand with Impossible and Beyond, they had like more than 10 different lab technicians and doctors and researchers and all these different people to come up with a burger that, you know, looks, smell, and tastes, you know, like the original beef burger. So, and you come to find that when people are eating a lot of those type of things, it's fine when you're crossing over into the vegetarian diet, but it shouldn't be part of your regular diet. Just like a person who pretty much eats healthy, they might not be vegetarian, but pretty much eat healthy and they might have a burger every now and then. You know what I'm saying? A burger and fries every now and then. It's not their everyday thing. So when it comes down to eating those things on a regular basis, they do cause health problems. They build up a lot of mucus. They cause digestive issues. I mean, me myself, if I take either one of those, I'm only doing it mainly maybe if I'm traveling in the airport or I'm somewhere and I just kind of want, you know, a burger, but I also realize that it affects my stomach. So it's not something that, you know, I eat all the time. So because we know white folks like to play a lot of games, you know, with words and a lot of trickery is involved in it. Matter of fact, here in Ghana, um, there's a lot of words in referring to white people. And one of the ones that you hear all the time is Obruni, which just means like, you know, white person or a foreign person. But then the Ebwe people, they have a word, I can't say it in their language, but it means tricky dog. So these are some of the things that's used in food as being political because people want to be able to say that they're something, that they're a vegetarian or they're vegan or what have you. And so you have some people who consider themselves being vegetarian and they're still eating, you know, dairy products, or they might still eat fish. But that's according to the definition that we're using today, vegetarian means somebody who eats vegetation. So another one of the things is that we'll talk about different the whole vegan. And I remember one Dr. Aris Lathan, one of my teachers, and my father too as well. But he was saying that I don't go by vegan. I'm a vegetarian. He said, as far as animals and animal rights, he said, I'm the animal that has the right to live. So I was like, I know that's right. That totally makes sense. When you're dealing with a elephant or a lot of these vegetarian animals, you won't call them vegan. You'll just call them vegetarian because they eat vegetation. You see, so that's just kind of like a summary of the different types of diet in reference to vegetarian. And you guys can ask me a question, anytime during this,
Well,
if you have any
I wanted
questions
to
on
jump in right quick
Mhm. Mhm.
before I get to the panel. I wanted to ask you about uh, vegetables providing protein,
Mhm.
and then also the uh, the best source of protein. I had kind of I was under two naturopathic doctors, Dr. Bernard and Obalaji, and they both knew your father. And
Mhm.
Dr. Bernard, you may know him, I don't know. Uh,
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
they told me that the best source of protein was cashews, walnuts, and almonds. Can you
Mhm.
can you validate that or talk about that?
Yeah, you're definitely gonna get your proteins through the nuts, but pretty much anything that's a living organism, it has protein. So if you're dealing, and I would say that the best source of protein is actually through greens. That's the best source of protein as far as being able to because sometimes it's not only about the amount of protein that's in something, it's what metabolizes into the body, what absorbs into the system. So and again, like when it comes down to the different animals, that we eat, most of the time they're vegetarian. And what are the vegetarians what are they eating? They're eating greens. Pretty much they're chewing chewing grass, or they eat some kind of leaves or something like that. They're vegetarians. So when we're eating animals, we're getting it from a third source. So why not just go straight to the source? you know so even like when it comes to like Nigerian food, Nigerians do eat a lot of greens, right? But they have a lot of meat inside. And I was telling Ghanaians all the time that the difference between them and Ghanaians and Nigerians, because you see Nigerians are very strong. Even if you look at their athletes and things like that, they're usually very strong and just in general, but they eat lots and lots of greens. So some people will say, oh, they eat you a lot of meat. I was like, it's not the meat that they're getting their strength from. They're getting the strength from the actual greens. So, and then also beans. Beans is another source. You get it through your seeds. Um, but yeah, it's a myth that vegetarians do not get their protein, but actually we're getting more protein than somebody who actually eats meat.
That's the first time I'm hearing that. That's excellent. So I'm gonna go to the panel.
Mhm.
Sister Lynda, how you doing this evening?
Okay, hold on. I'm doing good. Hold on. I'm trying to.
Okay, I come
Can
back to you.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Are you
Oh,
ready?
yes, I am, and I'm excellent. I'm doing wonderful. The
Good.
hurricane passed, so we're okay
Wow, where are you?
in Florida.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, we just had a lot of rain for the last week, but thank God it's going back where it came from.
Yeah, we give thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a couple things because because you said about the beans, and see, I know Muslims always say about the white navy beans. What do you think about that? And then the second question I have for you is what about frozen vegetables? What do you think about that?
Okay, as far as the white bean is it's very good. Matter of fact, I just made some, I make this bean and greens soup. Very, very, oh, it's so delicious. I said I put my foot in it this last time. So the pretty much most beans in general will be good, you know, for the system. Um, you can develop a lot of gas, but a lot of times that has to do with the processing of how people cook their beans. You should soak your beans first, 'cause a lot of times you're buying them dry. Or if you
Right.
buy fresh frozen beans, you know, that's good too. I used to always, when I lived in Atlanta, I used to always get the go to the farmer's market there and get the fresh frozen beans, especially like lima and things like that. So when it comes down to frozen vegetables, I would first say the best, of course, is fresh. When it comes down to frozen fruits and vegetables, it's better that you do it yourself. So, for example, I usually buy, you know, different fruits and vegetables, just like pineapples and mangoes and soursop and so many different things that we have here. And then I take them and chop them up and then freeze them so I can have them for smoothies. So it's like I'm doing it myself. So fresh frozen, that's considered fresh frozen. Then that will be, I guess, considered like the second best outside of doing something that's dehydrated, you know, so you can preserve your foods for some period of time. So I'm not necessarily totally against the frozen, but it needs to be fresh frozen, not like some of these I can't even think about Green Giant or some of these different you know, brands that we have out there where you don't really know how long, you know,
Correct.
it's been frozen.
Correct. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Thanks, Lynda. I want to go to Shanette. Shanette, are you there? You got to unmute if you.
Yeah, there I go.
Okay. Shanette, you have a question, comment?
Yeah, happy birthday, Sister Sharita. Dr. Sharita.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you. Thank you.
Yes, give thanks. Are you 8-8, the Lions Gate?
I am no, I'm not 8-8 at the Lions Gate. I'm on the fifth. I'm on the fifth, but yeah, I am in that, I am officially in the Lions Gate
Okay, give
right
thanks.
now. Yes.
That's the power of the roar. Giving thanks for your voices.
And
Absolutely.
since you know today is 888, so it's August 8th, and then it's 2024. The 2024 equals to 8.
Oh,
Yes.
So
yeah.
we're doing 888, which has a lot to do with abundance. So definitely
Yes.
tap into this vibration, everybody, and ask for whatever you want. If you can't, if you have those thoughts that come through that's doubtful and things like that, just take it and write it down. Just take it and write it down, or take a check. You want money, write out $10 million on the check. You know, just do whatever you can and just put it on the mirror or something. But do whatever you can to tap into this energy. Okay, sis, go ahead.
Yes, give thanks for that. Now, we were talking earlier, me and Brother Rashaki, and I told him I'm completely into the astrology and the numerology as symbology. So just understanding, how to tap into that vibrational frequency, because everything is vibration. So give thanks for you. I wanted to ask you, in terms of that one thing, if you could only eat, like, let's say you're fasting and you're coming off of a fast, and there was one food that was just completely high in nutrients, what would you fix and how would you fix it?
I will definitely do some type of greens. As far as a very strong, high nutrients, is moringa. Moringa is really good. Now here I can get it fresh. I can get it fresh off the tree, and I can make a stew with it. I can add it to different stews and things like that. But I would make it into, coming off a fast, I would make it into a drink. I would probably take it and mix it with some cucumber and ginger and celery, and then the moringa, and that'll be a really good high nutritious superfood, you know, that you can take in. You can, and there's so many different things. It's so many different superfoods. And I've been in Ghana so long, so I'm trying not to just call out stuff that's that's just here. But tiger nut is another one that's coming on the market into the States. Acai berry. It's so many different superfoods that you can use, but the one I would say moringa.
Now, moringa, I know as a powder. Is that something that is also like a green?
Yeah, so because you know a lot of times the moringa that we use actually comes from out of Ghana, the one that we use in the New Body Products line, and it a lot of times you will see it as a powder, but it actually is a small little leaf, and you can actually use it as greens. It's been used traditionally here in West Africa for a long time. I think some other parts of India as well. It's just that a lot of things people have gotten away from as far as like just like us in the States, the difference between my parents growing up in the South and then me growing up in the hood in LA. It's a way different paradigm as far as food and just the whole attitude towards eating. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tiger nut. I just need a little bit more information about that. Tell me about tiger nut. Is that an
Well,
actual
tiger
nut?
nuts, it has a lot of filled with a lot of nutrients. A lot of times it's really good for building up the iron with women. Uh, the tiger nut is also used for virility, especially for men. Um, it's really good to help with the sex drive. As a matter of fact, when you see people sell it here in the and you know a lot of people sell things in the streets here, you know, in between traffic. And the woman would say, charge your battery, charge your battery. That's how that's how they call it. And then they have it so they carry it on top of their head, you know, in a couple of different sizes. They look like little tubers, little small. It's a tuber like a ginger
Ginger or
or turmeric, yeah. And so, but it has like a really nutty flavor. So you'll see them selling that, and then you'll see this long stick, you know, that they sell along with it. And they call it, and it's also used for men's sex drive as well. And they call it dog penis. They have some, one thing
I
about
love my
Africans,
people.
they name stuff to make you remember what the thing is for or what it resembles, so you can remember the plant.
That's
You gotta
wild.
love something called dog dick.
I mean, I had some people come here. Just a quick story. I had some people come here because I do tours along with the festival, and they came from Atlanta. And one of the girls was just like, I was told to come and get some dog penis. I'm like, what? Because I didn't know what she was talking about. And then once I
Yes.
asked somebody, they told me, they said, oh, sure, this is stuff they sell in the street with the tiger nuts. I was like, oh, that's what that is. So I said, okay, so we got to find some. So we went to a like an open market, like one of these big open markets here. And I went to one of the ladies and I said, we were looking at this one berry that they call yoyi that's really high in vitamin C. So I said, you know what, maybe she might know where to get this from. I said, do you know where to buy dog penis? And she's just like, oh, yes. I don't have it here, but I can tell you because it makes it really nice for the women in the bed. It makes it really nice for the women in the bed. I was like, oh my God, they're just so straightforward.
I love it. I love it. Gotta
This
give me
is a
some of that
first.
tiger nut. Figure out
This
how to
is
get some of that.
Oh, you don't even want me to go into some of the names of some of these some of these herbs out here. Oh my
oh,
God.
oh, it's
What's the
Yeah.
wild.
catch-all? What's that catch-all herb?
Say again.
What's that one herb that they say will work for almost everything? What's that catch-all herb out there?
I would say, matter of fact, give me 1 sec. Let me grab this plant.
And that you bringing some wildness to us.
I didn't say it, but I love it.
It's wild. That's the first for us. But it's
Mhm.
all good. It's nature.
Keep it lively.
Yeah.
I'm going to order me some dog penis.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Watch out,
she said
Mr.
it was good. Talking about.
Watch, watch out, Mr. Shanette. Watch out. Oh, goodness.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
sorry about that. All right, so this plant right here. So this plant, I'm really studying this plant right now. I've had it sitting on my counter for the past month because I'm trying to, learn as much about it. So let's sure if you can see this really well.
It's pretty, I can see it pretty good.
So this
Yeah.
is called Leaf of Life.
Mm.
Leaf of Life. And I'm trying to put it at an angle. So if you look at, in the Ifa tradition, this plant is also called Abatala. Abatala is known for protecting his children or hiding his children, right? To protect them. So what happens with this leaf, what's so wonderful about this leaf, it's really good for building the immune system. It's really good for the respiratory and things like that. But the main thing is it's a very strong immune builder. They also use it as protection. A lot of times you'll see it in people's yard and either at their front gate or somewhere around their yard because it's used for, they use it as for protection spiritually. And then also come to find out that in Jamaica and some of the Caribbean islands, they use this leaf of life for the same reason, also for protection and also for dealing with the immune system. So over here, they also use it like for malaria, and things like that. But if you can see the leaf here, in these little small little crevices there, what happens is they'll start to have these little sprouts that will come up, and then it creates another more leaves coming out of this. What's really nice about this is that when I don't have to take this and put this in the ground and put water or whatever. I can literally take it and put it on my counter, and then it will just start to grow. All these plants, the plants will start to come out of these little crevices there. And that's why I was just so amazed about when they first told me about this plant. I said, no, get me some of this. I just want to watch it, see how it takes forever to dry because it's a thick plant. It has a lot of water in it. And it just grows so easily. Like you don't like there's even like a little sprout that's coming out of here. Sometimes the other plant that I put out the other day, they had sprouts coming out here on the side, and literally I just have it sitting. This has been sitting on my counter for a month, and it's still like this.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You see?
Awesome.
Is it,
And then
is
I
it,
have some of it did dry as well, so I'm just studying it so I can see how to put it into a powder form and just, how to make elixirs and things like that. But
how can we get a
yeah,
hold of?
this is the one that a lot of people put in when I'm talking about that one herb, I'm talking about for mental, spiritual, and physical. This particular one.
How can we get
There's many, but this
access
is
to those type of seeds or anything here?
I don't know because I've only known it here and I just learned about it being in the Caribbean. So I'm pretty sure if people are from, West Africa and that's into herbs, I'm pretty sure they probably have it. Because it will be a matter of me bringing it over on the plane, and then putting it into the ground. But as far as seeds, and I don't even know about seeds in particular because the way, like I said, the way this thing grows, you can just take it and just sit it on a counter, and then these little leaves, start growing. These little sprouts start coming out. So, I'm not sure if there's seeds in particular that you can, just buy on the market. I'll have to do some research on that.
Okay.
Yes, please let us know. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Shanette. All right,
Thank
Brother
you.
Ahi.
Can I ask how many people are vegetarian already?
Do we have any vegetarians on the panel?
I am. Shanette, I am.
Jeanette?
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm. And thank you for that breakdown in terms of veganism versus vegetarianism, because it is veganism has been labeled like as more of a political awareness when it comes to like the whole animal thing. And like your daddy
Yeah.
said, it's we we get a right to, we're gods. So the way that
Yes.
we interact with everything, it's like, as long as we're acknowledging the God within us, we don't need somebody else to tell us how to do it. It's the important part is to do it from your godly self. And if you're doing it
Yes.
from that perspective, then your relationship with animals is going to be appropriate.
Exactly. Exactly. It's true. Mhm.
Yes. So give thanks. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Brother Ahi.
Yes, I was I didn't eat flesh for many years, but I did eat dairy products and eggs. And so when you cleared that up, you said vegetarians, they eat vegetations, and that's exactly what it is. I would always say I'm a vegetarian, but I incorporate uh, dairy products, and I love ice cream and eggs in my diet. But I'm
You know,
not
my
really a
father
big
would say they don't have roots. Those
yeah,
things don't have roots.
right. Um, I I eat plants still, but I don't incorporate it for any uses like for medication or healing, the healing process. Um, I get a backache or something, I take a leave and use a liniment or something like that. Um, do you have um any type of plants that could help eliminate like body soreness? Um,
Yeah, one that works really good. I just experienced this because I have this sciatica, and whenever it inflames, it can be pretty painful.
mhm.
So, but thank God I got a remedy, a quick remedy. So, pineapple juice, turmeric, and ginger, and I get them fresh. I get
Mhm.
all of those are fresh. It's nothing processed or pasteurized. And then
Okay.
just blend it like a finger or a thumb of ginger, about a half a thumb of turmeric, um, and then pineapple juice, maybe about 16 ounces, 8 to 16
Is
ounces, and then just blend it. I just put it in the blender. I don't even sift it or anything, and then just drink that down. So I had just experienced a few months ago. I was doing this water fast, and I think at some point in time, things start coming out. So I started to have like these body pains and the serious ache in my back, and to the point where it was so bad to where I couldn't even move in the bed, just moving left to right, just trying to stretch or just having to get up to go to the bathroom was always painful. So I just couldn't take it anymore. So I got up, I think about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I made the pineapple ginger turmeric. When I woke up in the morning, it's like nothing happened. It's like literally, it was like an overnight, the inflammation just went down. So those three, the pineapple itself is also good for inflammation, and it's a very tasty. And you can take it and make it stronger, and just take it into shots as well throughout the day.
anything topical?
You can also use the ginger topical. You can take the ginger and crush it up and take it and put it on the wound as a poultice. Another thing that works really good, an elder taught me here, Mama Lena, may she rise in power, about cabbage leaves. So you take like the cabbage leaf, like the more green one, the one that people kind of tear off and throw away. You
Mhm.
take that and you actually put it on the actual area where you're having the pain, and it'll take care of that. As far
Well,
as
no,
yeah.
hearing your views on frozen vegetables, I'm sure the canned vegetables are just totally out of the question. Huh?
Totally out. Next. That's one of those things that I would say, that's a survival thing. That's more for, you take it and you put it in your basement or somewhere in the house. So in case it gets to the point where you cannot get, any food, or you can't get out to a store, or you don't have anything in your yard, then yeah, that's like your last, resort is
And what?
canned.
Thank you. You've been very informative.
All right. Thanks a lot, brother
Been
Ivy.
entertaining too.
Brother Mshinda.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, that dog penis sounds interesting, Dr. Sharita.
You still stuck on.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Dr. Sharita, and when she was describing it, she had a big smile on her face. Now, that's just a
This
joke.
is so
But anyway,
funny.
no, yeah, yeah. But anyway, so, you were mentioning a soup that you made. Do you share any of your recipes or anything like that? Do you have a website? Or since, the folks that are on this show tonight with you, it's only a few of us tonight, I'm sure there'll be more listening to it. But is there a way that maybe you can share some of your recipes? I was a
Yeah,
vegan,
so
thanks to you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah, every Thursday we do something called Health Watch Thursdays here in Ghana at our
Okay.
store called New Earth. New Earth is our original store in Compton that's been around since 1976. So I opened up one here in Ghana a couple of years ago. And every Thursday since December 2022, we've been doing different demonstrations. So most of the time it's on food. We do different vegan recipes, vegetarian recipes, and then talk about the benefits or maybe the traditions behind the food or what have you. And then we also talk on different, I think today we're talking on sea moss, how to make sea moss gel and the benefits of that. And the brother's gonna demonstrate different ways to use it. This is a chef that's out of Florida by way of Jamaica. And so we have different people. So I'm on here and there. I try to make it to where there's a lot of other people and not so much myself, because I'm not always here. So we have so many different people coming. We have people talk about financial health. We talk about different exercises, yoga, and the benefits of exercise. We talk about mental illness, or things that help to strengthen the mind, meditation, so many different things, music therapy, sound therapy, and things like that. So every Thursday we have something. So, but like I said, I would say probably 70% of the time it's about some kind of food demonstration.
Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of I was actually in Compton recently. I'm from Compton actually, so I grew up there, and
Okay, CPT.
I visit the store the on Compton Boulevard, and I bought herbs there. We actually, my wife and I, we purchased quite a few in bulk, and we're actually, like I say, we're mixing it in with different things, and so it smells. You could tell when you smell it, it smells, really, fresh. So it's. But again, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight or this morning. I know it's early in the morning, and I just
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen again after this is over. I'll get a chance to review the recording, but thank you for coming tonight, this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
so Rashaki, I see that you pulled up the thing. So now I'm on New Earth. New Earth is the channel now. We switched over. And so we do have some videos here where we started in December 22, but then we switched over to New Earth. I would say probably I don't know,
Is
February
it
maybe?
YouTube? New Earth?
Mm-hmm.
New Earth. It's just New Earth. What?
It might say New Earth Ghana. I think it might say New Earth Ghana. Yeah, I'll look it up.
I see. I'm about to see if I
Yeah.
can get it here. So
Yeah, but you know, as far as the vegetarian diet, a lot of times people think that we're lacking nutrients and all these different things, and and then we also and then people are always thinking about flavor and taste and things like that. And is that yeah, that's it. That's it.
that's it. Okay, good. Let's
Mhm.
subscribe.
That's it.
Okay. So
Thank you.
is this a place where you can find the Thursdays that you do on
Yeah, the Health
Thursdays?
Watch Thursdays. Uh-huh.
Okay.
hmm
All right.
So
So we
every
should.
Thursday at 11 a.m. your time.
Okay.
Yeah, 11 a.m. your time, 6 p.m. our time.
Okay. There you go, brother Mshinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a lot of stereotypes, about lack of nutrients. Um and and people feel like that we don't have any flavor in our food. And I tell them, I said, well, you guys must be used to white people vegetarian food. Because no, they don't have no flavor. And my father, when you talk, say, this food don't have no soul. It don't have no soul in it. So, and as far as African people, we like flavor. We like our food to taste, we like to taste our spices. So I always tell people that, when it comes down to like even eating meat, you're not going to just take some meat and just throw it on the fire and eat it. You're going to season it. You're going to you might put some vegetables with it, your garlic and onions and your different spices and stuff like that. And that's what actually makes the flavor. So when it comes down to the dealing with vegetables, also you have a bigger variety of things to eat. When you're eating meat, you might have about 4 that you eat, maybe 6 if you're adventurous. Here it might be even more. So people normally do chicken, fish, beef, pork, and then you have people that might then you have goat, and then some people might do what's filet mignon? Is that sheep or something? Some people might do sheep or whatever. But here, people might eat dogs, they eat cats, they eat what they call grass cutters, which is kind of like a gopher. And
Oh,
and even with the grass cutter, the grass cutter is eating grass, all the time. They even have a stew that they make from the manure, from the shits from the from the grass cutter, and they call it grass cutter stew. And they said it makes your hands smell stinky for at least 2 weeks. And I'm like, I said, I don't really see the point. I don't understand why you're eating that. If the animal is right there and the vegetable, the greens are right there, why why are you eating so they said, oh, it's high in vitamins, it's high in vitamins. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this, some things is kind of, I
hey,
have to, just kind of close my eyes sometimes because some things I see, I'm like, yeah, as a vegetarian, it's
it
kind of
it,
hard to watch.
it they say it
Eating meat
takes
out here
all
is not the
kinds.
same.
Ooh.
Yeah, so like you notice in the meat when you go to the grocery store, the meat is still usually red, right? You know that they're adding dye to that. But here, that's not the case. Nobody's adding any dye. So you get the chances, and I didn't even know myself until I actually was working in the hospital and I was in the kitchen and I was actually teaching the staff how to make some more, more nutritious meals for the patients. So they were just in there just cooking their regular meal, and they brought up this big bucket frozen of all this frozen meat, all kind of different ones. And it wasn't even like a separate like chicken and fish. It was just all these different meats inside. And it was just like dead carcass. It was no color to it. It was like gray. And I'm like, are you guys about to make that? And they're like, yeah, I said, this is what you serving the patients? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, wow, you know, I didn't even know it looked like that. That's what the real meat looks like, you know. So,
Wow.
anyway.
Okay. Thanks. That's kind of ooh. Uh,
Right.
Shanette.
If you're a meat eater, if you look at it like that, I think you will stop eating meat.
Well, I'm glad I don't. Shanette had raised her hand. Shanette, you're muted.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
or-
Um, I had a question about seasonings. Like, are there seasonings that can kill the nutrients out the food, or do we have to be careful about how we season our food? I know we can maybe over season it, or is there certain seasons that I know we want to stay away from table salt? Is there anything else that we want to like stay away from in terms of seasoning? Are there more seasonings that are more effective in terms of adding value to the meal than others?
Yeah, you have your different spices that are also medicinal. I wouldn't say there's too many things that would kill the nutrients as far as different spices, because like I said, they are herbs. They're just aromatic, you know, herbs, and herbs that has a certain flavor. Um, yeah, and then yeah, of course, table salt is not best. And then when you talk about over seasoning, a lot of times that's just people putting too much salt or too much even sugar. People are adding sugar to it as well. And most of the times, when it comes down to the different herbs and spices, it's actually I don't think you can really overdo it, because it's actually adding, you know, medicine, you know, to your meal. It's also helping with digestion. It's sometimes you have certain things that would help with breaking down, you know, parasites, uh, like garlic, and you have things like ginger and cayenne pepper that will help with the circulation, but it also helps with enhancing the flavor as well. Yes, I can't say that you really would overdo it. As far as maybe the taste, it might be too much as far as taste, but you can't really over season if you're using just natural, you know, plant herbs, not the table salts or these different seasonings like these Lari seasonings and all these different things like that. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. But as far as just fresh herbs and spices, it's not a problem, you know, to add it to your foods, and it's not going to cause any lack of nutrients.
Okay, thank you. Because I just found out that paprika was peppers, and I was like ecstatic. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
good.
It's a cayenne. It's a capsicum. It's in the cayenne or capsicum family, and they just come in different heats. So the different peppers come in different heats, or what they call heat units. So the paprika might be maybe close to like 5,000, 10,000 heat units at the most. But then you have something like habanero pepper. You know, that really, really hot pepper is usually between an orange and yellow color. That one is 200,000 heat units.
Ooh,
You see,
that's,
so the paprika is more on the lighter side. It's not too hot.
that makes my head itch.
But it's so good. It has so much flavor too. So I like spicy. I like a lot of spicy food. And but if it's something that I'm making for other people and they don't really like too much spice, I just take the membrane out of it and then just still use the pepper because it has a very nice flavor to it.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the cayenne. You know, if you get too much of it, boy, you're gonna be burning. You
You'll
gotta
be burning, a lot of mucus coming out, you're crying, you're sweating. It's
the
definitely a strong detoxer. Yeah.
oh, that cayenne, boy. I had a bit much on something I just had, and I was on fire.
It's a
Yeah, like
weapon.
the African bird. African bird is really strong too.
African bird pepper. Yeah,
It's a
Hmm.
weapon. You can use it as a
yeah.
weapon.
Oh, I did. No, I'm from the hood now, from Compton. So we, It was our original pepper spray.
That's what they make pepper spray from.
I'm telling you, I had a friend that anyway, so we all grew up in Compton, and at one point in time she came over to visit us, and because she lived on the other side of Compton, and it was this girl that used to always mess with us. And so we kind of got in a fight with her one day, and then she decided, I'm going to get my big cousin. I'm going to get my cousin Rochelle. So she went, and everybody was scared of Rochelle. So we're running back into the house, and then we telling my friend Kimmy, oh, this girl, she's about to come and beat us up away. She said, no, she's not. We're going to handle it. Give me some of that pepper. So she took it and put it in her hand. It gave it to us and put the powder in our hand. So she said, as soon as she come, we're just gonna throw it in her face. So she's banging at our door, bang, come out there. I know you in there. Come out of here. Come, calling us all kind of names and then all kind of bees and all that. And then my friend, she opens the door. Boom, just threw it right in her face. She yelling and screaming. She couldn't even see where she was going. And we were just like, oh my God, this girl is gonna kill us. I was like, Kimmy, you don't even live over here. When you're gone, she's gonna come and kill us.
That's wild.
But yeah, that was it definitely is a weapon. I do recommend keeping a little small pouch inside your purse.
Yes.
Dr. Sharita, I want to ask you about basketball. When did do you still play?
Not really. I mean, if I'm
Okay.
somewhere in a gym, I do West African dance, and sometimes it's in the gym, and afterwards they might have a ball. I will shoot around just to play
Okay.
around. But I haven't played in a while. I'm looking to work with a women's professional team here. And I'm looking to, just be a part of their team in reference to dealing with nutrition, and diet and things like that.
Okay, so
So, no, I
you
haven't played since high school, and then like I said, I played here and there, but well, no,
okay.
let me not say that. I think after my second child, I had 6 altogether, so I played up into my second child.
Okay, you didn't play college ball?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, you played in high school.
I played in high school.
How many points did you average your senior year?
Senior year, I would say 20 something was the average.
So you
I was say again?
If you average 20 points in high school, you supposed to play Division I basketball.
Yeah, that's a long story as far as me not playing. I got offered, but I mean, I was kind of, silly back then. I remember going to a couple of games, college, and then also meeting some of the college players, and it was so many of them. They were just so many gay, women on the teams, and I thought to myself, is this what I'm going to be going? Like one girl was like, I've been playing with this one. I think I don't remember the university, but she was saying that she'll be in the locker room and some of the girls are shaving, their beards. I'm just like, what? So I just kept hearing all these little stories about, women and the homosexual thing. It's a different day now, but at that time I was like, I don't want to be dealing with all that.
Hey.
So I kind of took a pass. And then I also had a father who was not so much about this college education. He was just like, what are you going to go there for? I can teach you everything you need to know. I said, Daddy, you can't teach me everything. But he was just like, you're just going to become more stupid. I was like, what kind of father tells their child not to go to college? Like, this is the weirdest thing. Like, nobody else is having this conversation with their child. But he was right. He was right. I learned so much more, outside of the university, just, being hands-on, but and then when it came down to college, he said, what are you going for? I said, I'm going for business. And he was just like, well, we're in business. I can teach you. I was like, yeah, but you ain't making the money that I want to make. So
wow. So yeah,
So I end up going, and then one of my first teachers, he's like, well, I'm gonna let you know right now, when you finish and you get your degree, you're not gonna even know how to open up your business. You're not gonna even know how to apply for a license by the time you go through all of this. And he says, so I'm gonna go from the beginning of how you start your business, where you go, how you open up, and all that and all that. And so once I took that first course, he was saying, the teacher was just like, this is pretty much all you need. You just need to understand your business, or like, you know, the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that so after a while I got it, and I didn't push my children to go. It's like if they wanted to go, they went. Some of them went, some of them didn't. Some of them graduated, some of them went on to, like, one daughter is like an entrepreneur, and and she's in these streets, making that money,
Yeah.
and she's only had, I think she did 1 year of college, so it's a different day, it's a different
Yeah. It's
style of living.
see if
YouTube
you take,
University is really strong.
but you take our household. I've been teaching math for 28 years,
Mm,
and so all of the kids got degrees here except one, and one, the last one, she's a junior in college. So it's kind of like a cultural thing. Each household have, like,
mm-hmm,
my wife and I are stickler for good grades and all that. So it's kind of, that was like a route, but you do the best you can, and it's a certificate. It opens up certain doors, but
mm-hmm.
it's what you do. It's
Right,
the
exactly.
accumulation of education, period, and
Mm-hmm,
your drive and your motivation to accomplish whatever you want to do.
mm-hmm.
So it's just an avenue, and that's how this country is kind of based off of that. So it's a
Yeah.
take it or leave it thing. You got to do what you got to do. You can get the piece of paper, but it ain't gonna make you the money. You got to make the money.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely believe that education is definitely important, but it's
Mm.
applied education.
Yeah.
What is it that you can take in, and you're gonna actually apply it, to your
Yeah.
life. So that's kind of how I taught my children. And just to always be learning, always learn something different, always don't stay stuck on the same thing. Always,
Yeah.
learn. Yeah.
And see the thing that kind of helped me through, because I played basketball.
Mm,
And when I finished basketball, I was still a junior in college. So that lets you
mm,
know how serious it was for me at the time. But
mm-hmm,
when I got in the Black Studies program, that just lifted my world, you know, because of the type of education I was getting. It's almost holistic compared to the other stuff I was getting. So it's an interesting thing, and there's
mm,
way more to learn in life. And college is just uh, an avenue. That's all. That's the way I see it. Uh, Brother
mm-hmm.
Ahi had his hand up. Brother Ahi.
It must have been a mistake, brother. No,
Oh, it
just
was a
enjoying the
mistake.
conversation. Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sharita, I don't know how much more time you have. Did you want to take a few more questions or comments, or you want to get back to the nice comforts of your morning sleep?
Oh no, I'm up now.
Okay. Okay. So I go back to Lynda and Brother Mshinda, and then we can close out. Sister Lynda,
Yes,
any more?
yeah, and happy birthday. I didn't say that at first, but I
Thank
have
you.
one question. You mentioned about a festival earlier. Can you elaborate on that, please?
So I do something called the African Culture and Wellness Festival, and basically it's just that about African culture. And then I put the wellness piece because, like I said earlier, we don't talk a lot about our wellness when it comes down to our, Pan-African movement. So I basically, I have a tour that goes along with it. We hit up about maybe 5 to 6 regions here in Ghana. Um, and that's for 10 to 11 days. And then we ended with a festival where we have lots of different vendors. We have a vegan all-stars food court. We have an African marketplace. We have a healers village. And then we have different workshops that go on throughout the day, like on yoga, capoeira,
Pilates.
well, so we have somebody that does something like aerobics, and then we do African dance, and somebody comes and we have an herbalist that comes. We have somebody that does food demonstrations. We have different arts and crafts for the children. We have a group called the Peanut Butter Kids, which is named after my daughter who made her transition back in 2014. She was very much into arts and crafts and things like that, and felt like it still needed to be part of the education system around the world. A lot of places, including here, they took it out of the system. So we used to call her Peanut Butter. And so what we did was create this group for ages 5 to 15 called the Peanut Butter Kids. And it's preserving the arts of Africa. So we have like somebody that comes in and teach them all kind of different things in reference to like wood carving and kente cloth for weaving, tie and dye, organic gardening, just different things. So that's a year-round program, but we also have a lot of things for them to do at the festival. And then we have a concert at night. The first year I brought Queen Afua here. I've brought Dr. Reese Latham, of course, my father, Dr. Goss. I brought Muta Baruka. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him. He's out of Jamaica.
Yeah, Muta Baruka.
Yeah,
we know much about him.
Yeah, so we brought him here 3 times, actually. He came 3 times and blessed our stage. So we do like
It's no
big
good
concert.
to live in the white man country too long.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes and bless the, Mike, and we have local artists. And also the States and the Caribbean. So I haven't done it since the pandemic. The last one I did was 2021, and it was online, and it's still online. It's like about almost 10 hours of different people presenting, different things in reference to African culture or wellness.
Okay, you said it's online. How can I find that?
You just look up African culture. Are you gonna put in ACAWF, ACAWF, or African Culture and Wellness Festival?
Okay.
And then
Got
you'll
it.
see the last one that was done, the full one that was done online. You'll see some other ones some little excerpts from the other years, but yeah. So, and I'm thinking about that I'll probably do it again, maybe next year. I was doing it every other year, the odd numbers. But since my father's transition, it's just been a lot of work. And so that's why I kind of cut the fat on some areas. So I'm not really doing the festival right now, but it's still, I'm talking about doing that next year. I'm not really sure. But I always do tours. I do tours all the time. That's something that's done on a regular basis, whether it's a couple or individual or family or a big group. I can, accommodate, different tours and make it custom made to the people who's coming.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to recommend an artist for you that's exceptional, reggae artist. You have any, artist, concert type. I mean, this guy is just awesome. But I could tell you about him later.
Okay, he's in LA.
No, he's actually in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just an excellent artist. I mean, exceptional if you ask
What's
me.
his name, brother? What's his name?
Lata Boombo.
Lata Boombo.
Lata Boombo. I'll send you his hookup. He was a guest on the show. I'll send the information to you. He's an excellent artist that I just found out about. So he's content.
Awesome.
He has the content, music, and voice, all three.
Okay, okay.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I was,
that's another thing about our artists, because we were always trying to push wellness. We all of our artists are vegetarian, because I guess we
okay.
push the agenda,
Well,
so they'll
see,
talk about different things. Even had
I
one guy talk about immunizations and vaccinations. He was telling people not to get it and breaking it down in his music.
okay. Well, I'm wondering. I don't know if he's vegetarian, but he has the music part down great. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Triple threat. So brother Mshinda left, and I guess we can close on out. I mean, it's been a excellent show.
Oh, yes.
Appreciative of your time, Dr. Sharita, and
You're
hopefully
welcome.
you agree to come on again because we want you to come back.
Oh, can I
Oh
ask
yeah,
just one other,
fine.
can I ask just one other
Okay,
quick
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
question?
ahead.
Go ahead,
Are
Lynda.
you familiar with her name is Yosheved, and she wrote the book Vitality Restored, and she has these wellness conferences every year in Ghana.
No, I don't.
She moved from America to Ghana about 7 years ago,
Say her name one more time.
and it's spelled Chavez, I believe. And her
How you
book is
say it?
called Vitality Restored. And I'm trying to pull her up now while we're talking, because she calls me from on WhatsApp. I was taking Pilates, and somebody introduced her to me, and she and I talk every month. And in fact, if you give me your email, I'm gonna forward you her information.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and again,
Well, if you're on WhatsApp, I'll give you my WhatsApp number.
okay, yes,
That's the
please.
easiest way to get me, because I'm always on WhatsApp. It's +233, which is the country code for
Right,
Ghana,
correct.
and then 241
Yes.
453
Mm-hmm.
871.
Good. Okay. Gotcha. And see, I was when you said you lived in Atlanta, that's why came to me. And you're familiar with Apex Museum, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And Dan Moore, right. See, I was the director of development at the Apex, and when your dad came to Atlanta, when y'all had that store right off of Memorial, I think it was. And my brother Reginald Muhammad, you remember him? Because he was
Yeah,
one
I
of your
remember his name.
distributors. Yes.
That's your
And so
brother?
yes, it is. In fact, he was over in Ghana, and he did the international reparations with your president, and they had a international conference last
Okay.
a few months ago.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay. Yeah.
like, and he's still in Atlanta. In fact, when I told him that you're on tonight, he said you better get on and listen to her. I was like, all righty. And I am so glad I
Well, where is
did.
he at?
He's in Atlanta doing the Reparations Institute, the Black Reparations Institute.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
also
Yeah, I
teaching
remember
over
Reggie.
he's teaching over at Clark Atlanta also.
Okay, wow. Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I've seen that brother. Yeah. He used to come through all the time.
Oh yes.
Give him the
Okay,
greetings.
I most certainly will. And I'm definitely going to give you a call and tell you about this sister that's doing this in Ghana.
Okay, yeah. I like to always meet with, people that's coming over here and, like minds.
Okay, yes.
All right, that's excellent. So we're going to go ahead and take our pause. Next week we will be off, and then in 2 weeks we have a brother Chawara coming on, the new faculty of thinking. Then Professor Rob will be back on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I want to thank Dr. Sharita Yazid, Lynda, Brother Ahi, Sister Shanette, and Brother Mshinda for attending this evening. And everybody have a great evening, morning, and we will do this again next week.
Definitely.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Thank you all.
everybody.
All right. Good night,
Have a
everybody.
good one.
Night.